Hey, what's up, everybody? It's attorney Chris Waggener back again to do some more Reacts videos. I'm going to be looking at a cops video in this one, like everyone. So if you like this, leave me a like. And if you want to see more of this, hit that subscribe button for more lawyer reacts to cops stuff. So let's get right into it.
A vehicle come off a side street here, driving up the wrong way, squealing tires and taking off. We're going to see if we can catch up to it and see what he's doing.
All right, like in every video I do, I like to talk about the approach. Like I say, the approach matters. The way the police come into contact with potential suspects and everyday citizens matters, because as American citizens, if you are an American citizen, you have a Fourth Amendment right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. That means that if the search is unreasonable, then all the evidence that's produced as a result of that search isn't admissible in court, and the police, the state, lose the case. So in this situation, he's saying that he either saw a car driving the wrong way on the road, or maybe it was called in, but it sounds like he saw it. So like that's going to give him reason to pull the guy over, because driving the wrong way on a road not only is going to be a violation of Florida traffic laws, it's also a danger to others. So he's going to want to make a stop for for community caretaking as well. He's whipping into this gas station quick.
West the trail in Palm Club West.
Is he gonna run?
And 1091 particular.
Stay in the car.
Always a good idea to stay in your car. Police like to be in control of the situation, and when you open the car door and get out, it makes them nervous for their safety, because they don't know you. They don't know what the person is going to do. They don't know if that person has a gun or a knife or any other kind of weapon. They don't know if they're going to make a run for it. They don't know if they're going to attack the police officer in any way. They don't know. So it's usually a good idea to just stay in your car when you get pulled over.
What was that all about, partner? What is that on the floor, man? Do not move. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what that is.
The gun automatically is excessive. What's the point of the gun? I understand this police officer doesn't know anything about this guy. He's driven the wrong way on a road, which implies something's wrong with the guy, whether he's intoxicated or, maybe he's just unhinged in some way. And then he quickly pulls into this gas station, which is also not normal, and then opens the door. And then it sounds like he's throwing drugs on the ground in front of him, and then left the door open. I get that all of that's unusual and it's not great. However, I don't know about accelerating to deadly force at this point. I mean, and also, the way that he's holding the gun too, it's really unprofessional.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why don't you just get out of the car right now?
My bad, man.
Get right on the ground for me. Get right on the ground for me.
Okay. It's just a pellet gun.
71 Fox.
Sir, it's just a pellet gun. It's not even.
Look straight down on the ground. Do not move. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I don't know what
man.
that is. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I have no idea what that is.
I didn't even know it was in there, sir.
Do not move. Do you understand me? It's on the floorboard there. He's saying it's a pellet gun. All I saw was the butt end of it.
Oh, so okay. All right, so I didn't hear what he's saying. He's saying a pellet gun. So that means that this cop saw a gun. It sounds like in the guy's hand, and he put it on the floorboard in front of him. So that's different. That makes total sense. Pull the gun at that point, because it's hard to tell the difference between toy guns and real guns. It's better to be safe than sorry if you're the police officer.
Man.
That's a good way to get shot.
I didn't even know it was in there, sir.
Whose car is this?
It is my friend Karen's.
Your friend? You didn't see that big thing on the floorboard?
No, sir. It must have been.
Or it was maybe the way you came around the corner back there at Osceola and Okeechobee, screwing on tire around that other car that was stopped at the stop sign.
Yes, sir. I was mad because he was sitting there. And he didn't move, and I honked one time, and he didn't move.
Well, your driving actions, of course, draws attention to you. Then you open the door, and next thing I know, I see a big gun at your foot.
I didn't.
You know what? I'm not in the car with you, sir, so I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a pellet gun, if it's a water gun, if it's a real gun. Roll over on your side, sir.
Facts.
Towards this way.
This way?
Yes. There you go. Yeah, sit him right here.
We're going to stand you up. 1, 2, 3.
Sit right here.
Go ahead and sit down. Hey, don't move.
Yes, sir.
All right. What crimes has this guy committed? At this point, The police officer's pissed at him for sure. And he's been kind of an idiot, to be honest. You know, like you don't want to go, maneuver, like you don't want to make what we call furtive movements with your hands when the police officers are approaching vehicles, because again, they don't know what you're doing with your hands. They don't know if you're trying to hide something. They don't know if you're reaching for a gun, reaching for some kind of weapon to attack them with. They don't know what you're doing with your hands. So any kind of like what we call furtive movements, reaching for stuff, moving around before the police officer makes contact with you makes them nervous. So he definitely did that, and the cops saw him with it looked like a toy gun. And I'm sure they're about to confirm or deny it. But, it's not illegal to have a toy gun in a car. And frankly, if you abide by the correct rules of the state of Florida, it's not illegal to have a real gun in your car either. We all have the Second Amendment right to bear arms. So what crimes has this guy committed? I mean, right now it sounds like a traffic violation. He drove the wrong way on a street. So, that could be a reckless driving charge. That's actually a misdemeanor in the state of Florida. It can raise to the level of a misdemeanor if the cop wants to, which I have a feeling this cop's going to want to. He does not like this guy. So yeah, might have a misdemeanor reckless driving charge at this point. It sounds like the rest of it's going to be nothing.
I mean, look at the size of this gun.
I understand.
And how could you not see that down there?
It must.
So yeah,
when I spun around the corner, it must have just came out then.
Sure,
I don't even know because it couldn't.
What size is your shoe? What size? How big feet you got? About 12?
11 and a half.
11 and a half? All right, well, the inside of that car ain't that big, so this thing had to hit your foot or something.
I'm telling you, it did. If I'd seen that, believe me, especially with you telling me to just stay in the car, I would not have opened up the door and then had it sitting there.
Well, you know what? Even if I was standing here,
shot. I'm not out to play any kind of games like that.
Is there anything else in this car that I need to be aware of?
No, sir.
I'm not going to find Jimmy Hoffa's body
No, sir.
under the seat or anything like that? Positive?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right,
All right, what can I handcuff him?
These are not comfortable.
They're not made for comfort.
I understand, officer. I didn't mean to put you in that situation.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So now they're conducting a search of the car. And why are they conducting it? How are they able to conduct a search of the car? Because again, police officers can't just search whatever they want. They can't just search whoever they want. They have to have a legal basis to do so. And in the United States, the standard is they have to have a reasonable suspicion that a crime is being committed. Now, typically, old school, top down, break it down, you got to have a warrant in order to conduct a search. Like if the police want to come into your house, they need a warrant, right? They have to go to a judge. They have to make their case. The judge has to approve the warrant, okay? But over the years, there's been a lot of exceptions that have been made. And one of those exceptions is if you consent to the search. So if I'm a police officer and I come up to, like, let's say this guy right here, and I say, hey, red shirt guy that idiotically had a pellet gun in his car, what looks like an airsoft gun in his car, can I search your car? And he says, yeah, sure. Well, guess what? Cop has a legal basis to search the car without a warrant now because you've just agreed to let him search the car. Probably shouldn't have consented to the search even if he's got nothing in there because they're looking for a reason to arrest this guy. Right now, after what I said earlier, they don't have a reason to arrest him, I don't think. They've got a reason to give him a ticket. I guess they could try to make a case for reckless driving. They could arrest him for that, but that seems like a waste. To me, it seems like the what they're looking for is drugs because he looks like he's, probably on meth or something like it.
I thought you didn't have anything else in the car, man.
I don't, sir. Come on.
How about all this marijuana?
It's my pot.
That is not mine.
That is not yours? Come on.
You're going to arrest him for weed now.
I'll take responsibility.
No.
I'm the only one driving.
Oh, my gosh. All right, this guy. Okay. This guy needs to just be quiet. He needs to exercise his right to remain silent, and he just needs to be quiet. He should never have consented to the search. If he had not consented to the search, they wouldn't have had a reason to search the vehicle. They wouldn't have found the marijuana, right? And they wouldn't have had a reason to arrest him. We're about to find out how much he's got on him. I bet it's less than 1 ounce, which means it's going to be a misdemeanor amount of weed, if I recall correctly. It's been a while since I practiced criminal law, but if memory serves me correctly, if you had in the state of Florida, if you have less than 1 ounce of, maybe it was 3 grams. I don't remember anymore. It's been a while. So maybe it's 3 grams. But anyway, if you don't have a ton of weed on you, it's just personal consumption. It's a misdemeanor. And even back when I was practicing, which is almost 10 years ago, most of the time they would just give you a slap on the wrist and go. So, I mean, like, again, because this guy scared this cop and has been acting like a knucklehead, This cop's not going to cut him any breaks. He's not going to do himself any favors. That said, he keeps talking about how like he doesn't know about the gun, he doesn't know about the weed. I mean, like, is it his car? If it's his car, then he's going to be responsible for everything that's in it. If it's not his car, like say that he borrowed it from a friend, which he said, I think he may have said at the beginning that he did borrow it from a friend named Karen or something like that. So if Karen owns the vehicle, then they're going to have a constructive possession defense. He could argue that, when he got in the vehicle, it's not his. He didn't know that it was in there. And that's a legitimate defense. So, that could be the way out. But it would have been easier to avoid all this by, not driving the wrong way down the road, not accidentally scaring the bejesus out of this police officer with a fake gun, and then consenting to allow the police officer to search the vehicle.
Driving it, so I guess I'm responsible.
All right, let's try this question one more time. Is there anything else
in the car? I don't know, officer. There's nothing else that I know of.
20 seconds of freedom. I love it. You understand your rights as they are read to you, sir? Yes, sir. You understand all that? Did you bring that stuff with you from Stewart?
Yeah.
All right. So you're telling me that you had no idea that marijuana was in there?
Yes, sir.
You knew it was in there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you just come down here to buy it?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Did you smoke any today?
No, sir.
No. Are you?
I haven't yet, so.
I appreciate your honesty. Do me a favor. Just sit tight. We'll be back with you as soon as we can, okay? Thank you. With the baggie right there, it's about 11 grand.
I am so jaded at this point with the criminal justice process that whenever I hear a cop say, "I thank you for your honesty," to me that just means thank you for confessing and making the case for me.
Very potent marijuana too. It smelled extremely strong when I opened that little center console. Let's just thank God that this guy didn't decide to reach down and grab that.
All right, so I'm going to run it back because I think he contradicts himself. I think the guy in the red shirt contradicts himself, and I'll explain it in a second if he does.
Understand your rights as they are read to you, sir? Yes, sir. You understand all that? Did you bring that stuff with you from Stewart?
Yeah.
All right. So you're telling me that you had no idea that marijuana was in there?
Yes, sir.
You knew it was in there?
Yes, sir.
All right, so he said, "Did you bring that stuff from Stewart?" Now, Stewart is a little like Atlantic coast city that's just north of West Palm Beach on the east coast of Florida. And then he said, "And you're telling me that you didn't know it was in there?" And he says, "Yes, sir." And then he says, "But you're telling me that you knew about it?" And he says, "Yes, sir." So he says, "You brought it down from Stewart, yeah. You didn't know about it, yeah. I didn't know about it. But you did know about it. Yeah, I knew about it." This is a confusing few sentences here.
Okay. Did you just come down here to buy it?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Did you smoke any today?
No, sir.
No. Are you?
I haven't yet, so.
I appreciate your honesty. Do me a favor. Just sit tight. We'll be back with you as soon as we can, okay? Thank you. With the baggie right there, it's about 11 grams.
All right.
Very potent marijuana, too. It smelled extremely strong when I opened that little center console. Let's just thank God that this guy didn't decide to reach down to grab that gun sitting at the guy's feet. I think all of us get a little bit spooked when something like that happens.
On our way right now to assist
Yeah,
our
but
officers.
but hold on. But it's not a real gun, right? I mean, like, listen, I'm no firearms expert, but my understanding is that's a fake gun. That's a toy.
Very potent marijuana.
Because, like, if you look at the barrel, where is it? Come on now. Like that right there, like that's where you feed the BBs in, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like it's not a real clip. It doesn't even really look that real.
It's like that.
Is there anything else in this car that I need to be aware of?
No, sir.
I'm not going to find Jimmy Hoffa's body
No, sir.
under the seat or anything like
All
that?
right, Jimmy Hoffa
Positive.
stuff.
Yes,
Where's that
okay.
picture though?
Driving it, so I guess I'm responsible.
All right, let's try this question one more
They
time.
show it here in a
Is there
second.
anything
I wanna
else?
see
in
that.
the car? I don't know, officer. There's nothing else that I know of.
20 seconds of freedom. I love it.
There,
You
right?
understand your rights.
Like what caliber is this? I don't think that's a caliber. I think it's a BB gun, right? It's a BB gun. Pretty sure it's a BB gun. So the question is possessing a replica BB gun, or excuse me, a replica pistol that's actually in fact the BB gun, does that add any charges on? I mean, frankly, I don't really know. I mean, there could be like the assault on a law enforcement officer. Assault would be, putting a law enforcement officer in imminent fear of great bodily harm, intentionally putting them in great bodily harm. I mean, I don't know if it raises to that level. I mean, there could be a felony that I'm unaware of here that maybe if you're, charged with selling drugs, and then you have, some kind of, weapon with you, and if the definition of weapon is large enough to include, BB guns, or, maybe there's some case law out there that says that, guns that look like real guns that you could use in a threatening manner. Maybe that's an extra felony charge that I don't know about. I guess that's possible. But I don't know. If you know, get in the comments. Let me know. Tell me.
As they were read to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
You understand all that? Did you bring that stuff with you from Stewart?
Yeah.
All right. So you're telling me that you had no idea that marijuana is in there?
Interesting.
You knew it was in there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you just come?
Yeah, and they don't tell us they don't tell us what he's arrested for. They just arrest him. I mean, obviously for the possession of marijuana. So my final thoughts on this one are that the reasons for pulling over the guy initially was good. Driving the wrong way on a street is obviously that's at least a traffic violation, if not straight up a criminal offense. Being the one that's jumping out in my mind would be reckless driving. And then the guy just didn't do himself any favors with the toy gun. Best thing he could have done was either tell the cop about it and say, like, listen, he would have his hands on the steering wheel. I would think this would be the way to do it. Hands on the steering wheel, or like outside the window, and say, obviously don't open the door, and say, I've got a fake pistol. It's between my legs. I want you to know that it's there. It's not real, and I have no interest in. I'm not taking it. And show his hands, right? The other way he could have handled it would be just like push underneath the seat and not say anything about it. And they don't find out about it and they don't know about it. They don't find out about it and they don't know about it. And that, being that they found that and they saw him messing with it, it sounded like he was kicking it, maybe even reached for it. Obviously, that's going to get a gun pulled on you by a cop. I mean, like, that's going to be the reaction every single time. And frankly, it should be the reaction that they should do, because they want to, I don't want a police officer getting shot for no reason. Like, they need to be, it's dangerous out there. There's a bunch of crazy people out there. You got to, and I mean that literally, not just figuratively. I mean, like, there are mentally unwell people out there that will do insane things. They will react in irrational ways at irrational times for irrational reasons. And these guys, unfortunately, like, that's their job. They have to deal with that every day. So if they don't know, like, every time a police officer walks up to a car, they don't know what they're dealing with. So his reaction was not inappropriate like I thought it was initially. And then obviously, then that cop doesn't want to deal with this guy in any nice way at all, because he, put the cop in fear for his life for a brief moment. The next biggest mistake, if not the biggest mistake that guy made, was he consented to allowing the cop to search the vehicle. I'm not sure that the search or that the encounter that they had up until that point gave the officer a reasonable suspicion to search the vehicle for drugs. He didn't smell any drugs when he approached the vehicle. In fact, later on in the video, the cop said that he smelled it strongly when he opened up the center console. Well, the only way he's opening up the center console is if he's searching the vehicle, and he had to get consent to do that. And in my experience, also, police officers don't ask for consent if they don't need consent. They only ask for consent if they don't think they have it. Because, like I said, consent's that's an exception to the search warrant requirement. Plain smell is also an exception. In other words, if he had smelled the weed coming from the window when he walked up, that would have been enough to search the vehicle as well. But he didn't have that because he didn't smell it. So the guy consenting to it made the search valid. So he'll get in trouble for sure for the driving the wrong way. He'll get in trouble for sure for the possession of marijuana. Is it a felony possession of marijuana? I mean, I forget what the exact amounts are pursuant to Florida law because I don't practice criminal law anymore. But it looked like a lot to me. It looked like it could get up there to to the felony possession. So could be maybe not something for the state attorney and the attorney to the criminal defense attorney to figure out. Weed isn't heroin. It's not crack. It's not cocaine. It's not meth. It's not fentanyl. Fentanyl being the big one these days. So, a lot of times there's like this unspoken thing, where state attorneys don't usually push us hard on the weed. But the fact that this guy had that fake gun and, scared the crap out of the cop, they may want to push harder just because of that reason, just to teach the guy a lesson. So, yeah, a lot going on in this one. What a weird one. This guy in the future needs to be smarter about how he conducts himself when the police are pulling him over. So, hope you guys like this one. If you stuck around this long, leave me a like and a subscribe. And, what do you think about this one? Shoot me some comments. Let me know. I try to respond to everybody's stuff. So, catch you guys on the next one.